do not have to worry about them too much anymore. I think the only metallic color going on the market, now I could be wrong, but I just want to throw it out there, is Grecian Formula, and it's for men. All right. When somebody uses a box color and they come into the salon and they want their hair colored over the box, you don't have to worry about it too much. Because most of the stuff that's on the market today is basically pretty much the same stuff as we use. Like Clairol, it's just packaged different. That's all. But it's not a metallic color. Non-oxidative colors are like your, well, they're like fun colors. You know, your hairsprays, your rinses, your chalks, things like that. It is one shampoo and that's it. With that being said, though, if your hair is really porous on the ends, it may grab on the ends for a little bit longer than one shampoo. All right, then your semi-permanent colors, those are your Pravana colors. They are supposed to last through several shampoos. They don't. They just don't. All right, they may last through one or two, but not as many as they said. Clairol used to make a toner that was like a semi-permanent, had absolutely no activator or anything like that with it. You just put it in after a lightener, and basically it just kind of toned those colors down. And that's it. Then you've got your demi-permanent colors. They will not lift. They will go the same color or darker. You do have to use developer with a demi-permanent color. You do not have to use a developer with a semi at all. Although you might have a little powdered little thing to it or a little activator, but it's not anything of great shakes that's going to say, oh, this color's going to stay in. It won't.
But for semi, you're saying there's
sometimes there's little activators with semi. Sometimes there's a little liquid that you can mix with it. It's supposed to help it stay a little bit longer, but it doesn't. But do not add any kind of developer.
Gotcha.
Okay, they're little, activators is what they would call them. They're not necessarily developers. Some though, like your demi-colors in Redken, your Shades EQ, they will use an activator, their own activator, and that is a developer. It's like a 9-volume developer, which is it any different than a 10-volume developer? No. One like that isn't going to make or break it. So if I didn't have an activator for Shades EQ, would I use 10-volume with it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
Do you?
With Shades EQ?
Shades EQ?
You would use developer with it?
I would.
Really?
They use an activator with it.
Like the thing that comes, well, they want you to get with it?
Yeah.
Demi-permanent?
Yeah. What's that?
Demi-permanent, right?
To use
It's a demi-permanent.
Yeah.
Shades EQ is Redken's versions of Color Sync.
Okay.
Okay, it is a demi-permanent color. You cannot lift with it, but it comes with its own activator, and that activator is like a 9-volume developer.
Okay, I gotcha.
All right, so if I was out of the activator, would it stop me from using it and adding
No.
10-volume to it? No, I have done that before and it's fine. Redken may freak out about that, no doubt about it, but I have done it.
But it would work.
Yeah,
the same.
because their 9-volume developer that they use, and they call it an activator, is not much different, if at all, than a 10-volume developer. Does that kind of make sense?
Yep.
Although if I had the activator,
You would use that.
I'd use the activator. But sometimes in a really busy
Well, you run out of
season,
stuff.
you run out of, things
And
happen.
You got more
So you
hair
have
than
to
you handle.
improvise.
Yeah.
But it does work. But those are the demi-colors, and the demi-colors is an oxidative color. Will oxidize. So when you mix those developer or activator with the color, you need to use it right away. You can't mix that up and then put a towel around her, then put a cape around her, then put another towel around her, then part her off, because now this 20-minute color is down to 15-minute color.
So you need to have all that done before you mix it?
Yeah, with any colors you should. Then you have your permanent hair colors. That is going to actually change the actual melanin in your hair. It will definitely go in, it'll lift the melanin and replace it with the artificial pigment. It will only work on virgin hair. Will not lift color, artificial pigment whatsoever. Okay, but it will lift virgin hair. So, with that being said, if I'm doing somebody and it's just a retouch, I'm going to use the permanent color on their retouch. Am I going to use the permanent color on their ends?
Mm-mm.
No. No, there's no reason to. If I need to refresh those ends, I'll either grab the Shades EQ or the Color Sync, which is a demi-permanent color. Go maybe one level lighter, because your ends are always a little bit lighter anyways, and do that. And sometimes you don't have to refresh. Back in the day, people would do the new growth, and then at the end, add shampoo or whatever and the remaining part of the color that's already no good because it's already oxidized out, and put it through the ends. And would it be lighter? Yeah. Would it pick up anything? Not much. Not much. But we don't do that nowadays. Or I can't say we because I think it still is done. Some people still do it, but I don't do it.
So are you saying with permanent hair color, if somebody has, let's say they put a permanent brown on their hair
Uh-huh.
and they want to lift their hair, putting a permanent hair color that's a lighter color onto it will not lift it?
Nope.
I was just thinking about
Oh,
No, you have to remove that color.
I did not know that.
it.
What about
That's good to know.
like demi-permanent color in their hair? Because that doesn't fully go into their hair, right? It just kind of partially.
And you want to lift that color, you're going to have to remove that color.
So you're gonna have to use bleach
Or a color remover,
or color remover.
which is somewhat like bleach. The color removers are somewhat like
Strips the hair.
If you want to go lighter with either a demi or a permanent hair color, color won't lift color.
Okay, this is good to know. 'Cause
So you're going to have to remove that color and then start from
so you couldn't get a
scratch.
blonde and go slap it on there with a
No,
20-30.
it'll be fine for your natural color.
Okay,
Your
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 natural.
virgin color.
That's very unheard of though for
Yeah.
people.
But no, you cannot go lighter.
For regrowth, yeah.
And even if you use 40 volume, you're not going to lift that color.
Okay,
So what you want to do is you want to use either a bleach or a color remover
Okay.
to get that color. Is it going to be damaging? Oh yeah.
yeah, I bet.
To remove color, it will be.
What's really the difference between a bleach and a color remover?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Okay? Some you can take a lightener and you can add distilled water with it and put it on somebody's hair and it will lighten slightly. You know, just like a color remover. Okay, leave it on a half hour. It'll probably lighten it enough to where you can start with another color. If I was going to make you a blonde, I would have to get all of that color out of there and I would have to do some major lifting on your hair.
So that's a
Okay,
major
if
color
I was going to a
correction.
light brown on you, not so much. I could bring it up to an orange level, counteract that orange with a blue base color, and get you lighter that
Boom,
way.
yeah.
Okay, so is it okay to use a color remover or versus lightener? They're gonna both do about the same amount of damage.
Yeah.
So if someone's like a level, like 7, like a light brown, and they have permanent, it's a permanent color. I know color don't lift color, but if they wanted to go black, can
Yeah,
it stick?
you can cover over it.
Okay, so you can go
So it
dark, you
will
just can't go
stick-
light.
It'll stick on top
Yeah,
of
because you're not lifting. Okay, you're covering. And if somebody is blonde, say Shelby wants to go black. Okay, she wants that Snow White syndrome. Okay? I mean, you got the pale skin, and not because you're sick, but you got that pale skin.
Picking on
and
Shelby again.
You could get away with,
Well, happy
with
birthday.
black hair. So if I was going to change her black, I would use a color filler.
Yeah.
Okay? And then I would put the black over the color filler.
Yes, because you have something to hold on to.
Right, color needs color to stick, but there's no lifting in that because it's already lifted.
So as far as the filler, that's what confuses me because I haven't done that yet with my dog. But like, how? What is filling? Like, what exactly would you?
Filling is nothing more than putting a color over hair that has no color on it. Because we've taken that color out.
to give it something to fill the hair with.
Yeah, so it's
So
not
So that
just
there's
like
something to
accurate
hold,
gray.
there's something to put onto.
Right, there's something that next color you put on is gonna be able to hold.
That makes
You
sense.
can just put a color filler on you. Color filler is nothing but a color.
Okay, that's what I
Okay,
thought.
so I'm gonna put a color filler on you, or a color on you. As soon as you wash it, because it is so blonde and so porous,
It's gonna keep
blonde,
fading.
it's gonna fade out.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
So we actually wanna keep that color in there. That's why we go about a level lighter than what you want
Mm-hmm.
for the filler, and then put the color over the filler.
And the filler is gonna even out the frosting, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Make
and
it all take about the same.
another thing I've noticed is that this color underneath, for so long I was getting highlights and stuff, but under here I'd always get it dark. So I noticed that when I started getting my hair and wanting to do it all lighter again, this is so hard to come out because it's been constantly been putting deposits of artificial hair color into it
Right.
to where it will not. That's why, because I haven't been using
but
any.
you have to leave it on longer, and the longer you leave a lightener on, the more apt you are going to get the damage.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
When I'm talking about a lighter color, I'm realizing why it didn't lift because color doesn't lift color.
no, color won't lift color.
So that's why it stays dark.
Whenever, because I've always gone like blonde and dark, like always. There was like
Same
no
here.
in between.
Same here.
And when I did go over my blonde before, I would use like a tobacco brown, which that has like a red undertone to it, and that's why I never had like weird hair. But this time, I went dark after my blonde. I used an ash.
And what
it
happened?
was green.
Green.
And it was awful, and I stupidly used permanent hair color and everything like.
Right.
But because I used a tobacco brown with a red undertone, is that why it didn't
Yeah.
look weird at all?
Yeah.
So it
Because
kind of
you
had
threw
like a
some
little
red back
filler
in.
in it.
Counteracted.
Yeah. Anytime I use a filler on somebody, I would use like a warm neutral, not just a
Okay.
plain neutral, but like a warm neutral. Then that way you get some of the warmer tones in there. Is it going to be a warm neutral when you put it on as a toner? No, it's going to look more neutral, but you're not going to get that green.
So say something like Maria, how she said she went green. Say you want that ash look, but you want to avoid turning green. Would you have to do like? Would she?
You would actually throw some red in there, and then color correct the red on the second time around.
Ooh.
Do you see what I'm saying on that? Because if I would take your hair color and threw an ash hair color on that, you would be green.
Yes.
Yeah.
You would be
Yeah, sure would.
yeah, because okay, blonde has what? Blonde is yellow,
Yeah.
right? Ash is blue. So blue and yellow make what?
Green.
Oh, that's so awesome. how
Green.
That is so cool, isn't it?
So to get rid of that green, we need that red in there because that's completely
Opposite.
Opposite.
It's the one that complements. That's
it's
why.
the one that complements.
Boom.
So my filler for you would be red, like a red brown,
So red.
and then I would
brown.
put the ash over it.
That makes so much sense now.
And then you'd get a brown, they would cover that red, but you wouldn't get that green, it'd be more of a brown color. So anytime you're coloring, it's always find the missing pigment.
Fine
There's
and
only
simple.
3 primary colors,
Red,
all right?
green,
And
yellow.
obviously,
Oh, wait, okay,
even
yellow.
if you've never had color on your hair before and you go into a salon and you want color, to me it's a color correction. 'Cause that's telling me if you want color, you don't like your color to begin with. So I treat every single color that comes my way as a color correction. So I'm gonna correct whatever they don't want,
Yeah.
okay? If I'm gonna lift somebody and I'm gonna get that orange, like we used, I think it was you, did we use a double ash
Yeah, with that,
on aniline?
I was just thinking about it.
Yeah, and it turned more brown and it looks good.
It did
It
look
looks,
good?
yeah,
You saw
I
it?
saw, yeah. Yeah, but the ends, there's not much you can do about that unless you know,
But that was
Remove
previous
that
color
color.
too though, right? Yeah.
right, you'd have to remove that color. And notice it didn't lift it.
It didn't do, yeah, no.
It
Yes.
won't.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
It won't. But whatever you do, you gotta find the missing pigment
Missing pigment.
on the color. So if you're orange, what 2 primary colors make orange?
Red and
Yellow.
Wait. Hold on. Red and yellow.
Red and yellow. Which one's missing?
Red and
Blue.
Blue. So you'd find something blue.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So that's how that goes. If you're violet, which 2 are violet?
Purple and blue. Oh, wait. Red and
Yeah,
blue.
which one's missing?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yep.
It takes me a minute to kind of
Same
like
here.
Right.
show
Same
something,
here.
but I'm like, yes.
I used to have a color wheel on my phone because it did take me a while, you know, it'd be like simple as like, oh my God, come on, I know this, you
Yeah.
know. But so I just pop it up in my gallery and say, okay, there we go.
It's good
I
to
don't
have.
need to do that
I
now,
know-
but
I know the color wheel does help me, but I have.
I will for a
Right.
while. I'm gonna
Right.
need it for a while. That's why I have one on my
yeah,
my
and I
thing.
just put it in my gallery so I could tell what's what.
Yeah.
So that's
So-
pretty much how these colors work.
So real quick, so if they
okay.
have dark hair, but in the sun it looks red, they're missing yellow because they have the blue, the warmth, and they have the red.
If they're red in the sun,
Well, it's like dark, but it looks red when you. In the
Like
sun.
dark brown with
so
red.
they're missing the yellow and the
yellow.
blue.
Okay.
They're missing the two.
They're missing the two
Okay.
if they're red.
Okay.
So if you wanted to counter correct that,
You'd have to use.
you'd have to use the yellow and the blue to
put
make
them.
green to counteract that red.
Okay.
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 This is gonna take a little
Yeah,
bit for
it
me to
gonna
really.
Take a
It
while
is.
before we just
Yes,
think of
until
in
it
the top
really
of our head.
And you
absorb
just
it.
have to do it. You just have to do. The more color you do, the more you're gonna see.
Right.
You know, and that all depends on what their underlying pigments are.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if somebody has just colored their hair, you know, there's a lot of people that color their hair at home, and they have absolutely no new growth from the color that they have. So you really don't know what their color is. So they went out to Walmart, they threw a color on, they want you to correct it. You got to go by the level it is at that particular point.
Okay. You have to figure. Yeah, because you
Yeah,
can't.
because you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, and if they whip up a picture and say, this is what I used to be,
Pictures are so.
it's not always what the picture
No.
seems. So you have to really have a good consultation with them because some people have some unrealistic
Expectations.
expectations on what
Yeah.
color can do and what they can't
Oh
do.
yeah.
So you have to be kind of careful about that.
Okay.
So any questions about the classifications of color? Does it kind of make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So, do you notice if it makes a difference if you use like a different brand developer from whatever?
No.
Okay.
No. I can tell you right now, Matrix is going to tell you to use a Matrix developer. Wella is going to tell you to use a Wella developer. Redken is going to tell you to use a Redken developer. I use Matrix Color for the most part. No, I do not use Matrix developer. I use probably Salon Care.
So with like developers,
whatever.
it's like pretty much the
It's
same.
Developer,
But with
yeah.
colors, you could see differences in brands. Like, really? I thought I
I
could
was
see.
gonna say with developer, I've watched just on like YouTube, what even high-end salons use the salon care ones that you see in like Sally's, the white bottle, they
Yeah,
use that developer.
salon
Right.
care.
in
Okay,
high-end
hydrogen
salons.
peroxide is hydrogen peroxide.
Yeah.
The only difference being maybe the brands like Matrix will put more conditioning things in their developer versus another brand. I mean, it's the only difference.
That's
it's
really
gonna
the
be.
only thing.
The only time I use the same developer is if I'm using Color Insider, which is an oil-based color, then I will use their oil-based developer.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's the only time that I go true to brand on that. And I only use it on one person. But if I use Paul Mitchell, whatever developer I have, you know, because sometimes I get Vivitone developer because I get it free. Sometimes I get ProCare or Pro whatever it's called from Cosmo Pro
Mhm.
or whatever
Salon Center.
Salon Centrics has, or if I'm over at Sally's, I'll pick it up, and it's the same.
Okay.
Okay, 20 is 20, no matter how you look at it. I have even used, because I was at home doing somebody's hair, and I didn't have any 10-volume developer, I grabbed the 10-volume household developer that you pour in a cut. It's 3% hydrogen peroxide. 3% is 10 volume. Did
Really?
it work? Yes, ma'am, it worked.
Wow.
That's cool.
That is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
You got to remember, we are the only country that goes by volumes still.
We're like low.
What's
we're like
wrong with
low-grade
us?
chemists in here.
You know.
I mean,
Most of
I
them will
know.
say there's 3% hydrogen peroxide, 6%, 9%, and 12.
Okay.
percent. Okay, and that's what, and you'll see, if you see any out-of-towner visitors and they give you your card, you'll see that they'll say 3% hydrogen peroxide or 3%
And that's 10
developer.
volume.
Or, so 3% is 10 volume,
20 is
6% is 20, 9 is 30, 12 is 40.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay,
That's
but,
good to know for.
right, so it's 3% hydrogen peroxide that you pour in a cut, which you should never use that on a cut, but they still, they say, because it'll burn
Yeah,
the
stick
edges,
it in your
man,
ears.
it will burn.
In your
But
ears.
you don't do that, but you can use that on basic, color. You
Wow.
want 10 volume, you got it. If you got that at home,
You
it'll
at,
work.
You at grandma's house? Go get some peroxide out.
It
of the
will.
gun.
My dad was the one that did that. He's like, come here, let me see it.
Okay, temporary color does not penetrate the cuticle. It just lays there. All right? The more porous your hair is, the better it's going to stick, but it's still a temporary deal. Should shampoo out. So your cuticle layers are going to be like that. That color molecule is pretty big, so it's just going to sit there. It cannot penetrate. Okay, semi-permanent. This is where they get you and say that they actually last through several shampoos. They lie. I do not care how many companies will tell you it will last through several shampoos. It won't. Now, if your hair is very porous, then maybe. But if it's really pretty good condition and it's like
The cuticles are flat.
smooth as glass, cuticles are down, not happening. Not happening. But it is a non-oxidative color. Can you use this as an actual toner? Yes, you can.
Like a refresh kind of thing?
Yeah, like a refresh kind of thing, yes. Okay, demi-permanent. It will not cover gray because it doesn't have the ammonia in it. It cannot open the cuticle layer far enough
Oh.
to dissolve your natural melanin.
That's why it can't cover the gray because it
That's
can't.
why it can't cover the
open
gray.
the-
It can blend gray, but if you are more than 50% gray, this would not be my go-to color.
It's because it doesn't have
Okay.
ammonia in it.
And there is no ammonia, and you can only go darker with it. You cannot lift with it. Okay, is it slightly going to shift your natural color? 10 volume, you can get one level of lift, but are you going to notice it? No. See, they will tell you that developers will lift, 10 will lift one level, 20 will lift two levels, 33, and 44. But it really, depending on what color your hair is. Okay, the lighter you are, you will get probably 4 true levels of lift with 40 volume. If your hair is darker, you're going to get maybe 3 to 4. Maybe 3.5. But it's not a true 4. So don't get hung up on that. Well, okay, here I'm putting a dark color on somebody, and this lifts one level. I'm going to see that level of lift. You're not. You're not. It's probably more like a half a level. Now, when you look at the cards in there, the card that has those levels on there, 1 through 10, you look at them, and there is really not much difference from level to level. There really isn't.
No, it's really hard to tell.
Now, a dark blonde, which is a level 7 in matrix, and a 6, which is a light brown.
It's very hard to tell.
Very little difference. And some of your number levels are a little bit different in other colors. Some of, Pravana level 6 is a dark blonde. Okay, their 7 is a medium. So don't just think if you're really used to just matrix, check the levels for it because some 6s are light browns, some 6s are dark
So
blondes.
don't just look at the numbers. Sometimes look at the
Yeah,
description.
just look at the description. Yeah,
Okay.
I would definitely do that.
Okay. I heard about that.
Demos are great for people who have never had color before and they want to experiment with just a tonal change.
Yeah.
So say you've got somebody that's got brown hair and she wants some red in it. You can use the same level and just change the tonal value.
This could almost be used as a refresher or like on the ends if
Right.
you were doing someone's roots.
Exactly.
Okay.
It can be used as a toner. I have highlighted people before and I've used demi-color as a toner. and I put it on all over.
Yeah.
Okay, I will not just hit the blondes. So I'll take those out, I'll shampoo it, mix that color up, put it on towel dry hair, leave it on anywhere from, oh my God, 5 minutes to 20 minutes, depending on how they
Porosity.
grab. You have to really, if you're gonna use it as a toner, and you're gonna use it, and obviously, I'm old school, so if I'm using a toner, I screwed up someplace. So I'm gonna be right there trying to get it, you know, like I didn't leave it on long enough and it's kind of orangey, I'm gonna get that orange out of there. So, but nowadays, people are using that as an add-on service, which is okay, which is fine. It's probably far smarter than what we were back then, because we just added the toner and no extra cost. Now, okay, you got the highlight, then the toner, then your cut, then your blow dry, so now it's like ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching,
Yeah.
ka-ching.
It's an extra $25 to
Mhm.
tone.
Crazy.
Right?
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Exactly. So it's totally up wherever you're working as far as the salon goes. Do I think it's a wrong thing to do? No. I wish I was smarter and would have done that way back in the day, but we didn't.
So it takes more work
Right.
and more product.
Okay, your permanent hair color is oxidative. That means it does require ammonia. So the ammonia and the developer will work by lifting up that cuticle layer and then going in there, dissolving your natural color, and it does replace it with artificial pigment. Do you need a patch test for these? Yes. Okay. They would have you do a patch test for all of them except a temporary color. All right. I don't do patch tests in my salon because I'm doing the same people pretty much that I've done for a long time. They're not allergic to color. I have had some ladies that start itching with the color. I mean, and then we switch them over to a different color. You know, like I used Matrix 500 series because this lady is 100% gray. She couldn't stand it because it itched too much. Even when I put Sweet and Low, because Sweet and Low, you can put Sweet and Low in your color because Sweet and Low has an antihistamine property and it does help with the itch. It really does.
How you learned that
So-
back from me? Now who experimented with that?
I don't know. I've been doing it for years.
I would put
Dude,
Sweet
it's
and
got to
Low-
be Sweet and Low though. It cannot be acid. You know, it cannot be. You know,
The yellow one.
no, it can't be the blue one.
Yeah.
It's got to be the pink Sweet and Low.
Who did that for the first time to tell you about it?
That I don't know, but it works.
And that, let's do some sugar, some cinnamon.
No, all you have to do is put 2 packets. I usually use 2 packets. Mix it up in there, and it does help because of the antihistamine properties.
Okay.
It doesn't
In it.
change. anything.
Doesn't change the color one bit.
I wonder if you could, I'm going off the deep end, but like open a thing of the Benadryl, you know? Like put it
Going
in there,
too
you know
far
what I
now.
mean?
That I don't know. I never tried. I would have to try that on like a relative. But what if somebody, you know, you're using a drug.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
already-
True.
You know, your lady probably end up.
I was gonna say here, just take Benadryl, calm down.
Some people do take Benadryl before they get color.
Yeah.
They do, yeah. If it itches. You know, that doesn't mean they're allergic to the color, they're just sensitive. All right, now I took her from Matrix and put her into the Color Insider from Matrix, and that's where it's oil. It's an oil infused color. It helped, but then we still had to use Sweet and Low, and she still itches. So I give her a comb and say, just touch. You know, a rat tail comb. I said, do not let me see you itch it because you don't want them to irritate their scalp.
Yeah.
But if they touch it like this, it tends to, you know, but you always get that one lady that gets in there and goes like this.
I'm
and it's
that
like,
one lady.
dang,
Yeah.
don't do that, you know? You can have scabs.
Like, you gave me the thing, so.
Yeah, but just because they itch doesn't mean they're allergic. An allergic reaction, they're going to go into like an anaphylactic shock. They're going to break out in hives, or they could, you know. And then if they're allergic to color like that, then you just can't color them. You can't.
Yeah.
You know, would I use a natural base color on them? I wouldn't color them with anything.
I was gonna say, what about that,
The bio.
yeah,
The henna base.
yeah, I was gonna say whatever it was, the henna base, but then That
Yeah.
didn't really work. I was like,
That doesn't really work
no.
too well. And you know, I've tried it more than once. I have. I really wanted it to work,
I know.
but
The lady was super cool. Like, she was very cool to,
She
and
sold
nice
me.
to listen to, but yeah.
With
the
the
product,
words.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
it's not
so
gonna,
great.
it doesn't stay.
No.
Now, there is absolutely there's no developer in there. It's just water.
It didn't even last during
And-
the application.
No.
No, it really
While
didn't.
we were here,
I know.
the demo,
No, and then they say we'll leave it on longer, and it's like, well, how long do you have to leave it on? You know.
Like, well, damn.
You know, let her go for a week and
Yeah,
then
for real. For real.
Okay, there is a lot of people out there that are into organics.
Yes.
And there's organic colors, there's all sorts of things. Now, do they work?
Yeah.
I haven't used every single brand out there. I can't say the ones that I've come in contact with do not work.
Yeah.
Now, color, if you're coloring your hair, it's an artificial thing that you're doing. To me, it doesn't go hand in hand with natural. You know?
You mean it's not
If
natural?
you want natural, then don't color your hair. You know?
Not with henna,
Don't.
organic?
No, no. I don't understand that.
Have you had anybody have an allergic reaction to the color?
No. No, I have never seen anybody have an allergic reaction to it. I'm not saying that there isn't anybody out there that could be.
There is.
But if you're going to break out into hives, I mean welts, and you can't breathe, then you can't get hair color.
But what if they don't know about it and
I think by the time they start with hair color, because you got to figure out, you're going to go with blondes. 99% of the time, if you're going to change your hair color and you're young, you're going to want highlights first. And that is off the scalp. And then sometimes you do put a toner over that, but that's usually like a demi. So you're not really going to notice if you're really super allergic to it until you get older. Or you build up an allergy to it.
Yeah.
So are there people really allergic to it? Yeah.
Medications and pregnancy all has an effect
Right.
on it. Hormonal.
Right. Now, and that's another thing. There are pregnant women that come in and they won't touch hair color with a 10-foot pole while they're pregnant. They'll let all that stuff grow out for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I colored my hair when I was pregnant.
I
I
did
didn't have
too.
a problem. I mean, my first kid was born just fine. Well, my second was born with a major heart defect. But did it have anything to do with the color? No. No, it didn't. So, but it's up to the individual. I cannot say that it's going to definitely do anything or not. I won't, you know, there's plenty of hairdressers throughout the years that have worked when they were pregnant. They worked around the chemicals now are much nicer than what they used to be. You know, what they used to be is you couldn't even stand the smell of the stuff. I mean, Rue used to come in a container and it's can that you had to pull out. And boy, as soon as you put that developer with it, I mean, it about knocked you over with the ammonia smell. So now, I mean, I mix up Matrix and it barely smells to me. So, I mean, things have become much nicer than what they used to be. So anyways, that's permanent hair color. It will get in, it will change, definitely your natural color.
And the red is larger molecule. What is it? Molecules? What is it?
Yeah, red is the largest color molecule.
So they're harder to be able to get into.
Mm-hmm. It kind of sits there. So it tends, that's why reds are very hard to actually get in and stay, because they tend to fade more than the other blues or your yellows. Okay, natural hair colors, we just talked about that, you know. It's like henna. It's a natural base color. Aveda puts a lot of that stuff on the natural base stuff, shampoos and stuff like that. Biolage is like that also. Everything natural. I don't think it works that well. That's just my opinion. I won't use it because I don't think it stays, and
Waste
I
of time.
really don't think it's, I mean,
it don't work. You gotta get in there.
it just don't work.
Yeah. Yeah, there you
It
go.
just doesn't work.
You got to get in there and wreck up that hair a little bit.
You know, a little bit of damage is not bad. It actually adds volume to your
Yeah,
hair.
makes it easier to
And
do
yeah,
your
every time I
hair.
color my hair or bleach my hair or do anything like that, and I shouldn't say bleach, I should say lighten. Basically, am I damaging my hair? Of course I am. Pick up a brush and brush through it, am I damaging my hair?
Yes.
Of course I am. If I go out in the sun and talk to a neighbor and out there chit-chatting, the blazing sun's on am I damaging my hair? Yes.
It's pretty much anything
Go
that you
swimming in the ocean,
the
in the
salt
salt water,
strip your hair.
yeah.
So people that don't wash their hair for like a couple days after the beach, don't suggest.
No.
Okay.
No,
No.
rinse it out.
Get that salt out of there.
I am people. That
Okay,
beach
Oh.
get that salt out of there.
Okay.
I mean, because, you know, salt dries things out.
It's like the ultimate clarifying shampoo.
Yeah, really, basically. So you gotta get that out of your head. Metallic colors. They usually contain metallic or metal salts that change the hair color. They progressively build up.
What does that mean?
Okay,
I've been
Grecian
wondering.
formula. You put it on, it'll change slightly. You
Okay.
put it on again, it'll change even more.
Okay.
It'll progressively get darker.
If you continue to use that
and
product.
when you continue to use that product.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's what that means. The only one that I know of, and I have researched the heck out of this, is Grecian formula. Do they still make it? Yes, they do. Does anybody use it?
Isn't Beijing a metallic too?
I don't think so.
What is it
I don't
called?
think Beijing.
Yeah, that's usually
Like
like
China?
what they use for their beards, like men's hair color.
No, I don't think it's temporary color. You don't mix it with anything.
Last semester, or back in August probably, we put a relaxer on Joe's hair, and his hair fell out, but he was getting hair color at his barber shop. I wanna say whatever the product was, I wanna say he was using Beijing, but for some reason I thought it was metallic. But we deciphered that it was because of the type of color he was getting, and then the relaxer.
Was he
counteracted it.
using a developer in his color?
Probably. That or it was henna based. It was one of the two. I wanna say it might have been henna then, but I remember he lost a lot of his hair. It was just like falling out.
Dang.
How long was the relaxer left on?
I didn't do it, but I wanna say 20 minutes.
That's too long.
That's too long.
That's
I think
It probably didn't really have anything to do with the.
By the time they were done applying it.
Yeah.
I take mine off as soon
Probably
Okay, the
they
thing
don't.
is,
A lot of people don't add the
application.
time when their application. They don't add that time in with the
Right.
total.
Application,
I
you
wanna
get
say I remember him being in a cap, and I remember him waiting it out.
a cap.
That's
Like,
too.
They put a cap over it.
Oh, they was tripping. That's
Like,
too much
I don't
heat,
remember
right?
because I didn't do it, but
Yeah.
I wanna
Right,
say
you don't
I
want to put a cap
personally
on when you're doing
remember.
no.
Because as soon as you
So
put
it was
it
just a
on,
big
you're
old
washing
mess.
it out.
I'm
they
gonna
kept it on for
assume, but
20.
you know, I don't know everything. I'm gonna assume it was the relaxer, not the color. Now, you can successfully relax somebody's hair that uses a 20 volume developer color.
Right.
But you gotta work pretty quick. And you gotta leave it on a little bit less time. Because if you leave it on too long, it will break it right off.
Right.
And you never put a cap over a
And, like,
relaxer.
his hair's grown back, because whenever I started, I asked him about his hair, and he said it's pretty much grown back, like, he
Right.
had no problem with it.
Right, you have to be, but I think the only one, like I said, the only one that I know of for sure is the Grecian formula, and that usually is a man's color that they'll put it on, and then it'll gradually go darker. You know, it won't be dark right off the bat. And things with metallic colors, they have really off sort of colors too. You get like purple hues to it,
Yeah.
you know, really kind of green
Strange.
hues, you know, but for the most part, you're gonna be hard pressed to find one. Now Beijing, I'm not sure what's in their color.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if you add developer to that or not.
I feel like I'm not sure.
It could be a temporary color.
I think so. Like, I know a lot of people, like, it washes out, but if they get it and they leave it on too long, it, like, darkens a lot, like, intensely. But it still fades out.
I'll check it out. I'll do some research on that.
I don't
Just
I
say-
don't use it. I just use regular hair color if I
Yeah.
color somebody's beard. Like gray coverage permanent.
Yeah.
Put it right on their beard.
I've done that too, and they tell you not to do that. But that's the only way I know how to color a beard. It's gonna knock
They
them
have
out.
so much gray.
as
What am I
far as-
supposed to do? I put
yeah.
permanent over it.
I'll put a permanent color right over it. I mean, once you put that by their nose where their mustache is, they kind of choke on it. But
Yeah, they hate the smell, but
yeah, it's like, don't be a baby. You don't want gray hair. You know, that won't last as long either because you're washing your face on a daily basis.
right.
So
It does fade.
it fades very quickly.
If it gets darker the longer it sits, that means it's metallic.
Yeah. Not that it oxidizes, because a lot of color oxidizes, and you put it on, and it goes from like there's a lot of matrix colors that go from like that pearly kind of off-white color to a dark color. The color itself will gradually get darker.
Yeah.
Not the mixture that you put on.
Okay.
That'll be dark, but now you put it on and took it off, and you've got like a light brown. Okay, next time you do it, you're gonna get maybe a little bit darker.
Okay.
You know, then next time you can do it, you're
So
gonna
that's
get a
the
little bit
point of
darker.
those is to
Yeah,
gradually
it's gradually
darken your
get to
hair.
the color that you want.
The color I use on my husband's hair, cause he got gray, but the longer I let it sit, the darker it gets.
Yeah, it's
Like, if I don't wash it out in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, it'll
right.
get darker.
Any of the
and
colors
darker.
you use, notice that matrix colors are like a pearlized sort of white or off-white color. You know, maybe like I don't want to say yellow because it's not really yellow, but like a cream color. Well then, basically, as they sit, they get darker and darker and darker and darker. That's not what I'm talking about as far as metallic
Over time.
goes. That's oxidation.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Okay,
Yeah.
metallic is every time you use the actual color, the results come out darker, then darker, then darker.
It's almost like it
then
fills it
darker.
each
'Cause it's
time.
building up. That's why
It's like a refill.
called the gradual color.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
that
why
makes
it's gradual
sense.
color. And what happens is because they put it on and they use the conventional dump method, they put it on all over.
Yep.
The first time is great. Second time, your new growth is a little bit lighter than your ends. Third time, your new growth's even lighter than with the ends because the ends continually turn dark.
Gotcha.
Your new growth, especially if it's gray, picks up like it's the first time you're using it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you have to really kind of be
Stay on
careful
top
with
of that too, because if you don't stay on top of it, if the hair grows out too much, then
It's
you're gonna have such a.
different. You're gonna have banding.
So people probably, yeah, exactly. So it's good to stay on top of it, like
Right.
literally every few weeks, getting it retouched
Right. You're
up.
gonna have that banding, and you really don't want that banding.
Okay, and that's
on
for
any
somebody
kind of
that
color.
isn't looking for an instant, like they're looking for a. Is it supposed to be healthier for your hair? Is that what the?
No, not necessarily.
Why is it? What's the point of it?
That's what color used to be back in the day.
Okay, that's why. Okay,
It's
that's
old.
where we've come from. Is gradual.
Right.
Okay, so that's how it
Okay,
used
we
to
went
be.
over this as far as the 10, 20, 30, 40 volume is. Okay, tomorrow we'll start with lighteners. All right?
Bleach.
Bleach.
I said it.
Bleach. We bleach our clothes.
I
We
said
lighten
it.
our hair.
I
I know
bleach
that's
my
gonna get
hair.
hard to get, cause I see it, I slipped with the one lady, I was like, when she wanted her roots, I was like, if I put straight bleach, I was like,
That does sound bad. I
like,
put some
like,
bleach.
how to like backtrack it, so it's gonna get used
Just-
to being
Yeah.
right.
Use
You're
your-
gonna have
yeah.
to, you know, back in the day it was bleach.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know?
it still is, but we call it lightener now.
Now we have to say lightener.
We've changed it. Like
Mhm.
we have to watch our wording.
And we tint hair,
Oh,
you know.
we tint it.
We tint it.
Oh, we don't color it?
No, it's not. I want to color it.
No.
Color my hair. Slap some color. I want to use
Depends on where you work.
use words like slap some bleach
Okay, if
in
you
my
work in
hair.
a really high-end salon, you're gonna call it by whatever
All
name.
right, tint my
What do they
hair.
call it?
We're done.
In that high pencil?
Yeah, you're coming in for a tint, you're not coming in for a color.
All right, I just.
Yeah.
All right, I just recorded this whole thing. It was 43 minutes.
Oh, okay, but I'm done now.
Say bye.
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 Okay.